there, this is Elizabeth from Gabriel Family Adventures, and today I'm going to share a review with you all of the Carnival Cruise Line ship, the Carnival Vista. And we just got back from a cruise on the Carnival Vista a few days ago, and we loved it. So I'm going to tell you all of the things that we enjoyed, some things that we learned that are good to know, and then maybe some stuff that you can use to make a decision as to whether or not this is a ship or a cruise line you want to go on in the future. So here we go. All right, so we took our cruise out of Galveston, Texas, and unfortunately there was some crazy fog delay, and so we weren't able to get onto the ship for about 6 hours, and when we did, it was a bit of a mess. There were lines stretching for a very, very long ways. Thankfully, we had booked an ocean suite, which is kind of the smallest of the suites. So you do get priority boarding. So you're able to go in a separate lines. We were able to get on the ship a little faster. And it was nice to get on the ship faster, although I felt terrible because you see these families that are waiting for forever. But what I did learn is that they have an option of, if you don't want to pay for a suite, you can do something called faster to the fun, where you can still get some priority access in different lines when, at your port stops to get off the ship and stuff like that. That doesn't cost a lot of money and is definitely less expensive than upgrading to the suite class, but you still have that priority access if that's something that's important to you. Other things to know about going on a Carnival cruise, and most cruise lines actually allow this, is that for every adult, you can take a bottle of wine. You can also bring sodas or soda water, a 12-pack with you. And so we learned this on our last cruise, and so we bought a bottle of wine each, which is definitely a money saver. And we noticed tons of families that had sodas and different drinks and stuff like that they're bringing on the ship. And that's something that can really help with the cost of, drinks, kind of like any resort, any cruise line. They're a little less expensive than what we've experienced on Royal Caribbean, but you still, your average glass of wine is gonna be $10 to $12, and your average mixed drink is going to be about $9 to $12 as well. Beers around $7 or so. So if there's ways to sort of help with the cost of beverages, go for it. They do have drink packages that you can buy, kind of the unlimited, where you can get, your espressos, your sodas, your cocktails, your wine, and all of that. But for us, we did the math. We've done the drink packages in the past, and this time we were kind of like, I don't know. And I think in the end, we ended up saving some money by not getting the all-you-can-drink package, and maybe it helped us not drink as much. I don't know. So when you get on the ship, typically staterooms are ready around 1:30, and so you can, if you get on earlier, you can walk around, kind of get a lay of the land, and they just have the staterooms closed off because the stateroom attendants are hustling, trying to transition from the last 4,000 people who were on the ship, cleaning out all the rooms and then letting you on. So for us, since we didn't get on the ship till about 7 p.m., everything was ready and everything was kind of open for us. So we were able to go straight to our stateroom and, put down our carry-ons. Your luggage gets delivered. The luggage was delivered pretty quickly though as well. So it's not something that, you're waiting until the middle of the night for your bags. Now, something to know about Carnival is that there's a little slot on the inside of the door for the lights in the room, and the expectation is that you put your stateroom key card in there to turn on the lights. You can use any card though, so if you have a gift card, you can use that. It's the same size, or an old room key from another vacation. You can stick that in there and then keep your your room key wherever you want. So if you want to bring a little extra one, we actually found an extra card in the desk drawer of our stateroom. So we used that to keep the lights on, and then you don't have to think about it as much, which maybe isn't as eco-friendly as, anyways, so it goes. So on board the Carnival Horizon, you know, when you've got your day at sea, our first day at sea, you know, it was winter, you're leaving Texas. So that first night they were trying to make up time. And when they're trying to make up time, so if there's any kind of delay due to weather, medical emergency, something like that, they do have the capability to speed up to make up time. But what that means is, for those of you who might be predisposed to seasickness, that can affect you because the ship's going faster, so you might feel things a little more. For us, it was fine. Even though my husband gets car sick, large ships don't seem to affect him that much. So you just kind of feel it at night. And then what's wild is that, you know, you leave the cold of the United States and you wake up the next morning and it was about 75 degrees outside, because you're down in the Caribbean. So that's glorious in the winter, and we're from Colorado, so you know, we left 25 degrees and then we were down to 75, 80. So that's just incredible. And my kids are 5 and 8. So our 8-year-old is finally tall enough that she can do every outdoor activity, except they have this fun bike path that you can take around, the Skyrider. So she's not quite tall enough for that. She needs to grow about 4 more inches, but it gives her something to look forward to. But she's tall enough for both water slides as well as the ropes course. And so she took advantage of all of those. Our 5-year-old was able to be tall enough for 1 water slide, and truly they could just be on those all day long. They were so happy. And what I love about Carnival, and a lot of the large ships now, they have so many things for kids to do, and you know, tweens and teens, there's so much. It's not just like a casino for adults and the bars. So they had this pool table soccer that was super popular. There's miniature golf. So there's never a dull moment. And if the kids want to go inside, there's the kids club. And the kids club, they split them up by different age group. There's games, there's activities, they have all kinds of fun things for them to do. Our 8-year-old could spend her entire vacation at the kids club. She loves it. She always makes a few friends, and so, you know, we have to basically pry her away to feed her lunch, and then she'll just beg us to go back, which is a good problem to have. Our little guy, he could do about 2 hours in the kids club, and then he'd rather just sort of hang out with us or go to the pool and chill. So, what if you don't want to be around a bunch of kids? You're on a ship, Carnival Cruise Line, it's called the Fun Ship for a reason. There's a lot of young people, a lot of young families. They have this awesome section called Serenity, and it's adults only. And what I was really surprised by when I went through there was that it's huge, and they have these awesome chairs with some covering, the big thick cushions, and there's a bar back there. They have this huge salad bar area, so you could spend a really nice amount of peace and quiet over there if you're traveling without children, or you're traveling with kids but they're in the kids club and you kind of want your peace and quiet. It's a wonderful option for you. Something else that we learned about Carnival, that in their newer ships, they have a couple different room categories, that it's not just sort of, you know, your window, your balcony, your suites, that sort of thing. They have 2 new kind of sections where they have the Family Harbor, which tends to be down in the lower part of the ships. And what it is if you stay in one of those rooms, you often, because it's so low, you don't really have a balcony, but you have a very large window if you get the ocean view, but you have access to this Family Harbor lounge that your key opens up to, and there's snacks, there's like this kind of chill area, some fun stuff to do. So it's a nice place to go with families that you can kind of feel like you're in your own special section. Then they also have this area called the Havana, rooms, and those rooms you have to, the youngest child in your group has to be 12. And part of that is because so it's a private section as well, and so some of it could be to reduce, you know, noise of little ones and stuff like that. But also the rooms that have balconies, they're significantly larger than the other balconies in sort of the traditional rooms on the ship. They have more seating, and then they actually open up. There's a little gate, so you could leave your room, go out to the balcony, and then walk on over to the Havana pool area. So you have your own special pool area. You get a bracelet, so it's access for people with those rooms only. So there's pools, there's hot tubs, there's a bar, so you've got all that fun stuff. And then inside, right inside, is the Havana Lounge, which everyone has access to, and there's often, you know, live music and stuff like that there. There's another bar. There's a lot of bars. Every cruise ship, you will not go thirsty on a cruise ship. So something about Carnival that makes it kind of unique compared to the other major cruise lines is that one of the ways in which it's a more affordable ship. I don't think that that means a compromise in quality. That of the 9 cruises I've been on, I've now been on 3 Carnival cruises, and they're great. The food is wonderful. Your regular dining options are quite good. You know, you've got, like on New Year's, there were oysters and prime rib. Now, is it the best cut of prime rib I've ever had? No. But you also have your specialty restaurants. You've got your steakhouse, you've got sushi, and it's really good. But what makes Carnival a little more affordable, in my opinion, is that when it comes to things like the guests staying in the suites, you're not treated that much differently than anybody else. You know, on Royal Caribbean, if you're in a grand suite, you've got a special lounge where there's hors d'oeuvres, there's free drinks during happy hour and all this stuff, right? And sometimes they'll deliver things to your room. You don't really get that with Carnival. You get some nice robes, but you can request that, I've heard, in all the standard rooms too. The room is a little bigger, and that's about it. And the way you sort of move up is by sailing more and earning more points. So your loyalty points do matter. It's kind of hard to build up though. For example, I'm at the between 25 and 74 point section. I've actually been on one more Carnival cruise than my family because I went on a 12-day Mediterranean cruise many years ago. So I accrued those points. But you know, the real perks don't start to kick in till you're past that 75 point section. And to get there, you don't get double points for getting a larger room like you do on other cruise lines. It's literally the number of nights on a cruise. So 75 nights of cruising will get you to that category. And then you start to get, you know, a few more things. There's been talk that Carnival is transitioning to sort of spoiling the people in the suites a little more. But based on our experience with Carnival, it hasn't happened yet. So there's still, you know, the complimentary room service for every room. It's a very basic menu, and then you pay extra for additional stuff. But, you know, there's not the frills and super fancy special stuff if you're in a suite. You do get priority boarding, which is nice. You don't want to wait in line, so that's great. Something else that Carnival does that's very fun is on their newer ships, they've partnered with Dr. Seuss. So they have, right next to the kids club, they have a whole Dr. Seuss room with books. And so it's a nice kind of quiet place that you can read to your kids or they can read to you. They do this really sweet Dr. Seuss breakfast with all, you know, Dr. Seuss themed menu, thing 1 and thing 2, the Cat in the Hat. And Sam I Am come out, and you know, you can take pictures with the kids and all that good stuff. It's only $5 a person, so I do recommend doing that. It's really fun. We've done it twice now and the kids absolutely love it. So that's a nice little feature of Carnival. You know, each ship, of course, Disney Cruise Line, they've got all the characters, and you know, Royal Caribbean, they have their DreamWorks partnership, so sometimes they have those special types of cruises. But Carnival does the Dr. Seuss. It's really sweet, and the kids really enjoy it. Something that I'm really enjoying, we sailed on the Horizon last year, which was a new ship, set sail in 2018, and then now the Vista, which set sail in 2016. And the ships are very similar in layout, that they've kind of changed the sort of traditional massive buffet area. The buffet option on the Horizon and the Vista are pretty small, and there's 4 sections of it on the Lido deck. But what they also do is they have the Blue Iguana Taqueria, which they serve breakfast and lunch, and they actually serve really great breakfast tacos where they make the tortillas right there. The breakfast burritos and lunch burritos were great. And then they have Guy Fieri's Burger Shack area, and those are included in the price that you've paid for your reservation. So this isn't an additional price like the barbecue spot in the brewery down lower in the ship. It's all included, and what I found that it does is that it kind of spreads out, you know, during that lunchtime crunch on a sea day where things are just insane. It spreads out where people are going, and so you don't feel as claustrophobic on those days. You know, of course, they also have their 24-hour pizza, which seemed super popular with all the teenagers on the ship. And you can actually have the pizza for a small fee delivered to you anywhere on the ship. They have this app that I really like because it shows you kind of where the entertainment is. If you want to go do trivia, it's all on that app. And if you do anytime dining, you can actually reserve your table on that app. And we've done both now. We've done the anytime dining, and we've done kind of the seated traditional set time dining. And I think I like anytime dining better. We've never waited longer than about 30 minutes for a table. And while you're waiting, you can just go watch a band, look at the app. Oh, so-and-so is playing over here. Go there, watch some live music, you get a pop-up when your table's ready, you head over to dinner. So I definitely recommend the anytime dining. Use that app. You don't have to pay for the internet service if you don't want to use the app. If you do pay for the internet service, it works pretty well. It's not as slow as ship internet service was several years ago. They've definitely stepped that up. The other thing that we really liked is eating breakfast, not at the buffet, but if you have time, actually go down to the Horizon dining room and do a seated breakfast. You have a lot of menu options, and the food does come pretty quickly. In some ways, it might actually be quicker than if there's a super crazy long line at the buffet, and it's really good. And then they have someone coming around with some Dr. Seuss themed cookies with little frosting decorations for the kids, and so our kids just loved that, and so they got to do you know, green eggs with green frosting and white frosting, and so we really enjoyed that. And there's a special menu on port day, so if you get up early before you disembark and you go down there for breakfast, they have a slightly different menu than sea days. And I had avocado toast as my last meal on the ship, and it was great. So take advantage of that. You don't have to eat at the buffet ever if you don't want to. You know, you could eat at all the other options that you have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They've got a panini section, so you can get sandwiches during the day. So tons of dining options that really spreads out where everyone is, so you're not feeling really cramped and overwhelmed. But overall, we had a wonderful experience on the Carnival Vista. I do recommend it. I think the price you pay, especially, you know, we were sailing over New Year's, so it is an expensive time. It's one of their prime times to sail, and I felt that the price was so reasonable, yet the quality wasn't sacrificed. You know, the service is excellent. The entertainment is so fun. You know, the singing, the dancing, the shows are always really great. The cruise director is a hoot. They had a great party on New Year's Eve, and overall it was a wonderful experience. So if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to put those below, and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. Thank you.